Alright, this will be a short instructional clip regarding a tactic that involves a sacrifice of the knight for a pawn followed by a pawn fork, which can appear in the Sicilian defense. I will show two examples and then how I used to do it in a real bullet game. So, this only works if you have a pawn on e6, a knight which takes the pawn on e4. If they recapture with a knight, then we can fork the bishop on c4 and the knight on e4. And then we can take either one of them after they make a move. So we sack the knight for a pawn, they take it, and then we fork, so we will get a piece back. So like this, takes, fork. I'll show another game. So another example of this pawn fork and the Sicilian defense. Here the Smith-Morrah gambit accepted. We sacrifice the knight for a pawn. If they recapture the knight on e4, then we get the pawn fork, giving us one of these two pieces back. Note this is only possible if this diagonal on the queen side is closed, meaning they cannot get the bishop away with a check, because else it would mean that it's not a fork anymore, since they can get both of the pieces away safely. Oh, okay, so for the first game in the close Sicilian. Here I'm already laying the groundwork, so the knight is placed on f6, ready to capture e4, their knight on c3, on c3, yes, and c4 the bishop, meaning it is ready to make the pawn fork after the knight sacrifice. How did they react? They were just waiting and I didn't play it. Maybe I wasn't thinking about it just yet. So I took the pawn in the center and then I did play the knight sacrifice. I was already dragging the d pawn forward if they were going to capture my knight. They did take it, so now I fork. They take my knight and I recapture it. Their pieces are still forked and the diagonal is closed still, so there is no check to get the bishop away. They capture one of the pawns to get material back, since they were going to lose a piece anyway. So now in the end the balance is even, but I have two center pawns while they have none. So if you are careful, you can still convert this to your advantage. Alright, then the second game, the Smith-Morrah gambit. Here already the knight on c3, an e4 pawn, my knight on f6. Now all that rests is pawn to e6 being pushed and their bishop to c3. My knight on c6 is already covering this diagonal as well. So e6 and the bishop c4 are played. So now technically I can immediately sack the knight on e4. Here I play it. They capture and then I get the fork.